Hi, and welcome to our video series on how to use the laser cutter here at CraterWorks. My name is Ross. I'm one of the shop masters here. I'm going to be walking you through how to use our 60-watt Epilog Helix laser cutter behind me. The laser has two different basic operations. It can cut things, and it can engrave things. To understand how to get the laser to do the operation you want, it's important to know the difference between vector artwork and raster artwork because it affects how the laser operates. The laser can only cut vector lines, but it can engrave both vector and raster artwork.
Okay, let's take a look at some examples of raster artwork and vector artwork. So here we see a rastered fish. Now, raster artwork is made up of many squares, pixels, each one assigned a specific color, and when you resize the artwork, these boxes merely get bigger and smaller and your image loses fidelity. Vector artwork, on the other hand, is made up out of paths, each path described by a mathematical formula, so that when the artwork is resized, there's no loss in quality. These mathematical formulas are also allow the laser to follow the path and cut smooth lines. As you can see, even these words are vectors, whereas on the other fish, the words were rastered. In the following videos, we'll take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of each of these different kinds of artwork when you're working with the laser.
The laser can cut and engrave lots of different materials. We have some examples here on the wall of things we have tested, like this piece of 1/4-inch Baltic birch. We have a couple different powers that we tried engraving it, and we have a good power for cutting it. But this is by no means an exhaustive list. If you're cutting a new material, or even one of the materials we have here on the wall, it's recommended that you make a test cut to dial in your settings before you embark on a big project. There's also this handy material appendix that we have laminated on the table, which will give you some ideas for what good settings could be for different kinds of materials if you're trying something new. Just make sure that whatever you're cutting is not on our do not cut list. In the following videos, we're going to go into some detail about running different kinds of jobs on the laser. Before we move on to videos about how to actually use the laser, I'd like you to take note of the fire extinguisher by the door. The laser cutter is a fire hazard. So if there is an emergency fire situation, like lots of flames, not just small flames, like an out of control fire in the laser, please use the fire extinguisher. But know that this is a safer electronics fire extinguisher and will displace the oxygen in the room. So after you put out the fire, or if you start feeling lightheaded, you need to leave the room immediately. So now on to videos about how to actually use the laser cutter.